The Brady Bunch wasn't just a sitcom, it was a TV comfort zone, full of bright colors, cheerful music, and a blended family that always found a way to fix their problems. The show became a hit, ran for years, and turned its young cast into household names. But behind that perfect world were mistakes, funny moments, and hidden stories fans never saw. From cast crushes to sneaky production there was far more drama and laughter behind the camera than anyone expected. The show first aired in 1969 and ran until 1974 on ABC. It followed a big blended family, 3 boys and 3 girls, who came together after their parents married. The concept was fresh because most shows back then centered on single, traditional families. While the series wasn't a ratings giant during its original run, everything changed after it was canceled. In 1975, syndication turned it into a cultural phenomenon. Kids and teenagers especially embraced it, giving the show a new life long after it left the network. That love kept returning in reunion specials, The Brady Bunch Hour, The Brady Girls Get Married, The Brady Brides, A Very Brady Christmas, and even theatrical movies in the mid-1990s. There was another TV movie in 2002, The Bradys in the White House. Few shows get this kind of resurrection. Ironically, critics didn't praise it during its early years, but decades later it became iconic. The episode Getting Davy Jones was even ranked among the greatest TV episodes ever. Fans still recognize the theme song, the square grid opening, and the warm, blended family vibe. The heart of the show was simple. Mike Brady, a widowed architect, had 3 sons, Greg, Peter, and Bobby, while Carol had 3 daughters, Marcia, Jan, and Cindy. After their marriage, the family blended into one household. Their housekeeper, Alice, added humor and warmth, becoming a beloved part of the home. One detail the show never explained was what happened to Carol's first husband. Creator Sherwood Schwartz imagined her as divorced, but ABC refused to mention divorce on TV at the time, so the mystery was left untouched. Season 1 focused on blending 2 households, adjustments, and learning to live together. There was even a tender moment when Carol told Bobby, "The only steps in this house are the ones that lead upstairs," emphasizing unity over labels. Later seasons shifted toward teenage issues, crushes, school pressure, jealousy, fitting in, growing up. The show avoided heavy topics entirely. Even while the Vietnam War was happening in real life, the Brady Bunch stayed soft, wholesome, and comforting. And while the tone remained gentle, the behind-the-scenes world wasn't always so calm. Cast relationships, real-life crushes, and production challenges added layers viewers never saw. The cast quickly became legendary. The opening sequence with 9 faces and a 3x3 grid was so original that people called it the Brady Bunch effect. Robert Reed played Mike, Florence Henderson played Carol, and Ann B. Davis played Alice. The children were brought to life by Maureen McCormick, Eve Plum, Susan Olsen, Barry Williams, Christopher Knight, and Mike Lukenland. Casting them wasn't easy. More than 264 kids auditioned. Producers held on to blonde and brunette options until the parents were chosen, so the children's hair, colors matched the family look. Joyce Bulifant was almost cast as Carol, but after Ann B. Davis was hired as the humorous housekeeper, producers felt the mom needed to be calmer, so Florence Henderson got the role. Gene Hackman was briefly considered for Mike Brady, but since he wasn't yet famous, Robert Wood, already known from television, won the part. These decisions shaped the iconic family viewers came to adore. The Brady world didn't end when the show did. Paramount released the seasons on DVD in 2005 and 2006. Later handing rights to CBS Home Entertainment. A 2007 complete box set included the original show, A Very Brady Christmas, The Brady 500, and 2 episodes of the animated Brady Kids. The packaging even looked like 1970s decor, with green shag carpet and wooden paneling. More releases followed in 2015 and 2017, and in 2019, the 50th anniversary brought a massive collection, featuring every series and movie connected to the Brady universe. International releases followed as well, even on VHS long before DVDs became popular. But the real, behind-the-scenes story began with a tiny newspaper statistic from 1965 that said 31% of marriages involved children from a previous marriage. Sherwood Schwartz saw it and realized a cultural shift was happening. That 4-line filler became the spark for one of TV's most beloved families. Casting remained intense. Schwartz used a clever method during kid auditions, placing objects on the table to test whether children stayed focused. It helped him find young actors who could concentrate, even surrounded by distractions. But not everything behind the scenes was so controlled. The show may have looked peaceful, but cast relationships had their own drama. Susan Olsen, who played Cindy, once revealed she and Mike who played Bobby, had a little childhood romance and would sneak kisses in the doghouse when they were 9. Maureen McCormick, who played Marcia, developed a real crush on Barry Williams, who played Greg. Their first kiss happened while filming in Hawaii. She later wrote about how intense their chemistry was, saying she couldn't even read the word bedroom in a script without blushing. Their feelings were strong but faded over time. Meanwhile, Maureen and Eve Plum, who played Jan, didn't get along. Their tension became legendary, with Susan Olsen describing their rivalry as really petty. Barry Williams once asked Florence Henderson, his TV mother, out on a date when he was 15. She gently declined and later explained it was sweet and innocent, nothing more than admiration. The first season also featured Florence wearing a wig because her real hair was too short. The famous "Oh my nose" scene was Rio Marine was actually hit in the face with a football thrown by Lloyd Schwartz because Christopher Knight couldn't throw it accurately. And while the show appeared polished, actors often faced real emotional and physical moments on set. One heartbreaking incident involved Tiger, the Brady family dog. He was hit by a truck on the Paramount lot and died during filming. Production replaced him with another dog, but the behavior never matched. Susan Olsen's hair was dyed blonder and Mike Lookinland's hair was dyed darker to match their TV parents. Robert Reed also struggled creatively. Trained in classical theater, he disliked many scripts and wanted deeper stories. His disagreements with producers grew so intense that they clashed throughout the show. Then came a rumor that refused to die, a supposed romance between Barry Williams and Florence Henderson. Susan Olsen later clarified that it was blown out of proportion. Barry admired Florence. Florence was kind. They went out for her birthday. It was innocent. Still, fans twisted it into a scandal. Florence later confirmed Barry had asked her out, but described the evening as sweet, harmless, and flattering. She drove them to the Ambassador Hotel, watched a singer, and Barry gave her a polite kiss on the cheek at the end of the night. The story stayed wholesome, even though the public wanted something scandalous. In truth, the only real romance on set was between Barry and Maureen. Their teenage affection fueled on-screen chemistry that fans still remember. Lloyd Schwartz, the producer, eventually cleared up the rumor completely, explaining that Barry was young, Florence was a married mother, and the date was simply a kind gesture. Florence even called the moment playful but coy, yet fans held on to the fantasy. As Lloyd said, he reassured Florence no one would think much of it. But he was extremely wrong. Money played a surprising part in the cast's future. Barry Williams revealed that by the 5th season, the highest-paid kid earned $1,100 a week, around $24,200 for a full season. Not bad for a teen, but after agencies, taxes, and family contributions, the money didn't last. Residuals also dried up quickly. Before 1973, actors were paid for only the first 10 reruns. By 1979, the cast earned nothing from syndication, even as the show exploded worldwide. This is why many actors returned for spin-offs and reunions, not for prestige, but simply because the paycheck mattered. The Brady Bunch Variety Hour, the Brady Brides, and even the spoof movies existed partly because the cast needed income. Eve Plum later said they fought for retroactive pay, but failed. Only later did new rules require permission and payment for old clips, though those payments are usually very small. These financial realities explain why so many Brady stars turned to selling memorabilia or participating in reunion specials. Fame stayed, but the money didn't. Behind the nostalgia was a complicated truth. Even the show itself had its share of goofs. The biggest one involved the house. The exterior shows a split-level structure, but the interior depicts 2 full floors and an attic. The outside second floor doesn't match the location of the indoor staircase. The driveway changes sides between front and back shots. Ages of the kids shift inconsistently. Cindy jumps from 6 to 8. Jan ages out of sequence. Marcia's birth year on her driver's license doesn't match the timeline. Reused shots of the house appear as both day and night scenes, with identical shadows. The backyard grass is actually green felt, visible in multiple episodes. Alice's living space never includes a bathroom, even though 9 people living together would need at least 3. Mike Brady's salary as an employee architect wouldn't realistically support a family of 9 with a full-time maid, vacations, and a large home, especially with Carol not working. The house itself feels too small.